Hello, my dear students. Hope you having a nice time and best study, hard study to your subjects. Okay. We explained the structure of axial skeleton, the structure of appendicular skeleton. Today, I'm going to explain the other structures in skeletal system. We will explain the structure of tendons and the ligaments and cartilage, joints, and their types. Before explaining the structures, let's keep these informations. PLP. What is the meaning of PLP? PLP meaning bone, ligament, bone. When the bone meet a bone, they form joints. But the bone need to attach with another bone by ligaments. So, bone, ligaments, bone. Bone, ligaments, bone. PLP. When the bone need to attach with the muscle, they need tendons. Bone, tendons, muscle. Okay? PLP meaning bone, ligament, bone. PTM, P meaning bone, tendons, muscles. Very important information. You need to write it and keep them. Okay, let's study the structure, the other structures related to the skeletal system. The first one, we will speak about cartilage. Cartilage present between two bones to prevent their frictions or prevent their collisions or prevent their damage during frictions. Cartilage is a type of connective tissue found in flexible structures like ears and nose. It is flexible connective tissue, have less calcium. Bone is a connective tissue but has more calcium. Cartilage is a connective tissue, has less calcium. Okay, cartilage don't have blood vessels, so they receive food and oxygen from bone cells by diffusion. It is a very important point to know that any injury in cartilage take longer time to be healed. Why? Why? If the damage or injury happened in cartilage, it will take longer time because there is no blood vessels in cartilage. So no food or oxygen received directly to cartilage. But the cartilage take their food or oxygen by diffusion from bone. Okay, it is a very important point. Okay. Cartilage found at the tips of bones, between bones to prevent their friction or reduce their friction, prevent their damage. As the cartilage prevent cartilaginous joints, which has cartilage prevent between the centrum of two vertebrae. Again, they found usually at the tips of bones and among vertebrae. Why? To protect bones from corrosions which happen due to continuous frictions. When the bone hit another bone or continuous friction with another bone, it will damage or erode as time passes. So the cartilage protect them. Okay. Also, now we will speak about the joints. Joints, look to me and keep what I will see now. I will say bone, meet, bone. Bone, meet, bone. The area between two bones will be called joints. Bone, meet, bone, the forming joints. Bone attached with another bone by ligaments. Bone attached with the muscle by tendons. Okay, let's see the type of joints and what are joints. We have three types of joints. Fibrous joints. We have three types of joints. Fibrous joints. Fibrous joints, they are not move. Don't allow movement. Fibrous joints, at these joints, the bones are fused by fibrous tissue, which change into bony tissue when getting older. Fibrous joints consist of bones attached to each other by fibrous tissue, which change into bony structure when getting older. Fibrous joints not move, such as the joints between the bones of the skull, which are serrated tips. Bones of the skull connected with each other from the serrated tips. Also, another example for fibrous joints, the joints between teeth and jaws. Okay. Another type of joints are cartilaginous joints. Cartilaginous joints, they connect between ends of some adjacent bones. Most of them very limited movement, allow very limited movement, such as the cartilage between, or the cartilaginous joints between the centrum of vertebra and vertebral column. The most common joints will be synovial joints. They represent most of body joints. They are flexible and bear shocks, trauma. Shocks meaning trauma, okay? They allow movement easily because the bones are in contact with these joints are covered with a delicate layer. Bones in synovial joints which meet another bone are covered by delicate layer, transparent smooth cartilaginous substance, as we see in the bones of hand. Synovial joints, they contain synovial fluids that facilitate the sliding of cartilage which cover the tips of bones. The cartilage which cover the tips of bones need also something help it, which is synovial fluids, okay? Types of synovial joints. There are two types of synovial joints classified according to their movement. If the synovial joints are limited movement, it will be limited movement joints. If it move in all directions, it will be wide movement joints. Limited movement joints, they are joints that allow movement in one direction only, such as elbow joints and knee joints. Okay. Wide movement joints, joints allow the movement in all directions, different directions, which different directions such as shoulder joints, such as hip joints. Okay. They are joints that allow movement of bones in different directions, such as hip and shoulder joints. Okay. Look here. This one is shoulder joints and this is wide movement. I can move it in all directions. This one is elbow joints. This is limited movement. I can move it but only in one direction. This one is wrist. It is widely movement. I can move it in all directions. Okay. We have got two types of joints, of synovial joints. The first one is limited movement joints, allow the movement in one direction. The second one is widely movement joints, which allow the movement in different directions. And you have example, shoulder and hip joints for widely movement joints. And you have got two examples for limited movement joints, such as elbow and knee joints. Let's complete the other structures of skeletal system, ligaments. As I explained, PLP, bone, ligament, bone. Okay. Ligaments is fibrous connective tissue linked two bones together, have high degree of elasticity. Elasticity meaning it is not hard, such as we explained about collenchyma tissue in plant. We said that collenchyma tissue provides support with elasticity. Also ligaments provide support with elasticity. Determine the movement of bones at joints in different directions. Ligaments determine the movement of bones at joints in different directions. Okay. As ligaments in knee joints, it is a very important example found in your school book. It is a very important example. Ligaments in knee joints have 4 ligaments. Anterior cruciate ligaments, posterior cruciate ligaments, and medial collateral ligaments and lateral collateral ligaments. This is the knee joints. This is the anterior cruciate ligaments, and this is the posterior cruciate ligaments, and this is the lateral collateral ligaments, and this one is the medial collateral ligaments. Very important to keep these names on the drawing. Okay. Now we will speak about the tendons as I explained. PTM. PTM meaning bone, tendons, muscle. Okay. What are the tendons? Tendons is a strong connective tissue connect between bone and muscle, link between muscle and bones at the joints, which allow the movement during contraction and relaxation of muscles. While muscle contract, it pull the tendons which pull the bone so we can move. Okay, so tendons is very, very important tissue in our body, help us to move, connect between muscles and bones, connect between muscular system and the skeletal system. Okay, as Achilles tendon, this is the example, very important example, Achilles tendon. This one is Achilles tendon. This is the gastro muscle, and this is Achilles tendon, and this is the heel bone. Okay, Achilles tendon connect between this muscle and this bone. Okay, it connects between gastrocnemius muscle with the heel bone to help in the movement of heel, so we can move by Achilles tendon from the heel. Okay, tearing of Achilles tendon. What happens when there is an inflammation or injury in Achilles tendon? What makes this injury? Performing vigorous efforts. When you practice sports very strong, very hard, vigorous efforts, you may cause injury in Achilles tendons, or sudden contraction of the gastrocnemius muscle also cause injury in Achilles tendons. Okay, how we can treat it, or what is its symptoms? How we can treat it and what is its symptoms? The symptoms: acute pain, inability of walking. Acute pain, hard pain, inability of walking. You cannot walk, or you feel very painful in your heel. Okay, swelling at the site of tearing. You feel your leg is swollen, or your ankle is swollen. Okay, how can we treat it? If it is simple injury, not hard, using anti-inflammatory and analgesic drugs, using medical splint to release the pain. But if the injury is hard, we need to do surgical intervention, which is not carried out except during the complete tearing of tendons. What meaning? If the tendons is not completely tearing, just injury, simple injury, we will not need to do surgical intervention, but we need it only in case of complete tearing in the tendons. Okay, let's remember that long bones in our bodies are humerus, metacarpals, phalanges, radius, femur, metatarsals. You need to keep these name of long bones. Okay, short bones in your body, carpals and tarsals. Okay, flat bones, sternum in thoracic cavity and ribs, scapula, clavicle. Okay, irregular bones, vertebra, sesamoid bones, patella. Okay, what is trunk? Trunk is the region that mediates the human body. Trunk meaning region mediate human body and consists of thorax, abdomen and pelvis. Thorax meaning thoracic vertebra, abdomen meaning yes, abdominal vertebra, lumbar vertebra and pelvis. The number of vertebra in trunk: 26 vertebra, 12 thoracic and 5 lumbar and 5 sacral and 4 coccygeal vertebra. They are the number of vertebra, not the number of bones. Number of vertebra 26, 12 thoracic vertebra, 5 lumbar vertebra, 5 sacral vertebra, 4 coccygeal vertebra. But if we want to calculate the number of bones, 12 bone in thoracic vertebra, 5 bone in lumbar vertebra, 12 plus 5 equals 17. And sacral vertebra, we will calculate them as 1 because all are fused. Coccygeal vertebra, we will calculate them as 1 because all are fused. So 12, 5, 1, 1. Okay. The number of articulating vertebra in trunk are 17. 12 thoracic and 5 lumbar, they are not fused, they are articulating. This one is the trunk, except the neck. Trunk start from the thoracic vertebra up to coccygeal bones. This is the trunk. Okay, the vertebra that bisects the neck present in the middle part of the neck is fourth vertebra, 3 above and 3 below it, while the vertebra that bisects the vertebral column is vertebra number 17. Vertebra number 17 is the 10th thoracic vertebra. Okay, there are 6 cavities in human body. 2 glenoid cavities forming shoulder joints, 2 acetabulum cavities forming hip joints, and 2 cavities in 2 ulnar bones. Okay. Now we will speak about new concept related to movement in living organisms. What meaning of movement in living organisms? Movement meaning change my position from one place to another. Just? No. Now we will study their another types of movement, such as continuous movement. What's meaning of continuous movement? It occurs inside each cell. In your cell, in my cell, any living cell has continuous movement of cytoplasm. Continuous movement inside the cell, so it is live cell. So the continuous movement in the cell for continuity of its vital activities, for transporting protein from one place to another inside the cell. Okay, such as cytoplasmic streaming movement, and you will see now video for this movement, okay? This is chloroplast in plant cell, Elodia plant leaves. This is the Elodia plant leaves, and this one is chloroplast. Look, the chloroplast move from one place to another inside the cell. That's because the cytoplasm are in a state of continuous motion. Cytoplasm move and push all its contents to move from one place to another. Okay? The second type of movement is positional movement, and it is that change in movement of organ inside its place, such as occur inside some organs, such as peristalsis movement in vertebra's esophagus. The peristalsis movement which start from esophagus up to all digestive canal. And you will see now video for peristalsis movement. Again, peristalsis movement start from the esophagus and complete in stomach and complete in small intestine, large intestine. So the peristalsis movement start in esophagus and complete to all digestive organs. Okay, let's see this video which explains the peristalsis movement, or showing you the peristalsis movement. This is the peristalsis movement, and this is a type of positional movement. Move in their places. The organ move, but in their places, in its place. And this movement helps the organ to do its function. Okay? Now we will speak about the last type of movement, and we concerned about it, the total movement. Total movement meaning such as I go out from my home to reach my work. This is the total movement, the movement of whole entire body, by which the organism can move from place to another place to search for food or for a mate or to avoid dangers in the environment. This is the total movement. Total movement depends on the presence of strong, solid support. Skeleton, either internal or external skeleton. Internal or external skeleton help the body to move from one place to another. Now we will speak about the movement in plant. We will speak about some types of movement in plant. The first type is positional movement, and this have many examples for this one. So we will speak about movement in plant, positional movement, and we will take the first example is response to touch. Movement in response to touch, as in mimosa plant. This video shows you how the mimosa plant respond respond to touch. Look, you studied it in the secondary 2. Last year you studied the mimosa plant when you studied the sensation in living organisms. Look, this movement called movement in response to touch. And this is one of positional movements. They move in their position. They don't move from one place to another. And also moved in response to touch. The other type of movement in plant, positional movement also, is sleeping and awakening movement in mimosa plant and some leguminous plant. Okay. You will see also a video explaining sleeping and awakening. Sleeping like, oh, plant sleep, awakening like that, oh, plant wake up. In mimosa, it occurs also in mimosa plant, in some leguminous plant, most of plant. Okay, let's see this video, which indicates the sleeping and awakening movement. The movement in response to touch affect only the compound leaf, but here the movement of sleeping and awakening movement affect the leaves and rachises of plant. Look here, the plant looks like sleep. The leaves and rachises fall down. The plant now is sleeping, while now the plant is awakening. So differentiate between the movement in response to touch, which affect only the compound leaves, while the movement in response to awakening and sleeping affect the leaves and rachises of the plant. Look here, the plant gets away from the leaflet gets away from each other during the daytime, indicate the awakening movement, but in night the plant leaflets approaches to each other during darkness, indicates a sleeping movement. Okay. Now another type of movement of plant you studied in the last year, which speaks about tropism. It is a positional movement, speaks about the tropism. As you remember, the tropism are in stem and leaves. We studied the tropism in stem and leaves. There are two types of tropisms. You studied. There are a lot of types of tropisms, but you study only 3 types, which are phototropism, geotropism, and hydrotropism. Okay, phototropism, geotropism, and hydrotropism, we study them in stem and roots. Stem is bend toward the light, so it is positive phototropism, while the root bend away from light, so the root is negative phototropism. Okay. Stem bend toward the light, so it is positive. Root bend away from light, so it is negative. Stem bend upright. Stem bend upright, away from gravity, so it is negative geotropism, while root bend downward toward the gravity, so it is positive geotropism. Stem don't search for water. It is not the function of the stem, so it is no effect with hydrotropism. Hydrotropism meaning the effect of water, geotropism meaning the effect of gravity, phototropism meaning the effect of light. Stem, it is not from its function to search for water, so the stem no effect with hydrotropism. The root, from the function of root, is to search for water, so the root is positive hydrotropism, bend toward the side which has water, bend toward the soil which has water. Okay, another type of movement in plants, or before seeing this another type, let's see this video which explain and differentiate between different type of tropism. This is the day one. See the difference between 2 plants, one upright and one downward, one downward and the other is upward. Okay, look, the stem bends toward the light, bend toward the light and bend up toward up. Stem in two plants A and B bend toward the light. So the stem is positive phototropism ونيجاتيف and negative geotropism. Okay, while the root is negative phototropism, bend away from light, but bend downward, so it is positive geotropism. Okay. If the plant stem grows towards the sunlight, it is positive phototropism, and root grow away from light, so the root is negative phototropism. If the root grows toward the gravity, it is positive geotropism. Stem grow away from gravity, it is negative geotropism, as you studied in the last year. Negative geotropism, it is the stem. Okay. Another type of movement in plant, which is also positional movement, is haptotropism, pulling movement. Pulling movement, we can see the pulling movement in plant in two examples. In the tendrils of climbing plants, this picture, tendrils of climbing plants, and also in the root of some corms and bulbs. Okay, let's see this video. Before seeing, look, the tendron rises itself. The tendron rises itself up in air to make a contact with a solid object. It will search for a solid object, as you will see now in this video. It immediately twines closely around the solid object and attach firmly to it. It will coil around this solid object and attach itself firmly. The rest of the tendril make a few turns in a spiral forms, therefore its length decrease, and so the plant stem approaches toward the support. That is to say, pulling it toward the support and grow vertically, as you will see now in this video. The tendril, this one, become thickened after growing of stem vertically due to laying down of considerable amount of mechanical tissue, as we studied in the first lesson, support in plant. Supportive tissue therefore becomes stronger. Look here, tendrils looking for support, hard support, solid object. It looks for it. Oh, found it. So look, coil itself around it, twine itself around it. Also the another one will make the same thing. Attach the plant firmly to the solid object. This is the pulling movement and tendrils of climbing plants. Okay. Pulling movement in the roots of corms and bulbs. This is an example of one of them. It occurs by pulling roots below them. These roots below them. The corm or pulp roots contract meaning shrink. Therefore, the plant is pulled downward, as you see in this picture. The corm or pulp is pulled downward to the normal suitable level in the soil. Okay, my dear students, we will complete the other types of movement in plant, and we will explain the movement in human in the next session. See you later. Best wishes for you.